Welcome to GAB with ALisa on Metrocast Channel 10. Thanks so much for joining us. Today we have a privilege and an honor to introduce a wonderful guest to Metrocast Channel 10. Today we're going to be profiling Captain Heidi Flemming from Patuxent River Naval Air Station. She is the first female CEO of the base, and I will tell you that that is a good piece of information, but it is not the only thing that you're going to learn about Captain Flemming that is just incredible. Perseverance and personality. If you needed 2 words to describe this lady, those would be the words. When we come back in just a moment, we're going to talk to Captain Heidi Flemming on GAB with ALisa Profiles, Metrocast Channel 10.
Why smart people buy their used cars from Jack Fitzgerald. Reason number 1.
The most important reason to buy a car from us is our 138-point inspection report. We check the car out thoroughly, and we put a copy of that report in your glove compartment so that you know as much about that car as we do before you buy it.
Shop our entire used car inventory at fitzmall.com.
And that's the Fitz way. There's just no better way to go.
Welcome to GAB with ALisa Profiles on Metrocast Channel 10. Our guest today, Captain Heidi Flemming. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
You know, I meet a lot of people in a lot of different positions from all over our community that do amazing and different things. And before we do our interviews on camera, we have an opportunity to spend a little time getting to know each other, talk about history and philosophy and things that we like to do and why we're all in the positions we're in. And I have to say, I feel like you and I have connected so quickly. You have such a big, friendly personality, and yet you are in an incredibly historic position for the Navy, for women, for St. Mary's County, and for Patuxent River Naval Air Station. You bring this bigger-than-life personality and friendliness to the job. So I want to kind of back up from that gigantic introduction and ask you a little bit about your history, how you got to where you are at Pax River.
Sure. Well, my history, I grew up in a military family. My father was in the Marine Corps. He flew in the Marine Corps, so there's the connection there with naval aviation. And growing up in a military family was really exciting. I moved around a lot. But I also spent half of my life really in the D.C., Maryland area. Mm-hmm. And it was really my dad's influence and my mom's influence as far as going the military route. I wanted to be part of something bigger than myself, so I chose to go to the Naval Academy. And once I got into the Naval Academy and went there, played volleyball, so I have a athletic tie there, and thoroughly enjoyed it. And I ended up picking naval aviation, and my first tour was in Rota, Spain after flight school, flying C-130s. And after that, I got there right around Desert Storm. Mm-hmm. So we were flying all over the Middle East and Europe, from logistics missions to aero refueling, and absolutely thoroughly enjoyed that. But at that point, combat aviation was not open for women. So my career field was very narrow. And at that point, I was thinking potentially about a career shift. And with my volleyball ties to the Naval Academy, I had orders back there, and I worked in the PE department. And I was thinking about going that route and being a coach. I spent the first part of my tour there coaching volleyball and ended up with a head coaching job. So I was their Division I volleyball coach. And at that point, I was thinking that is the way I was going to go. But both my bosses were P3 aviators. So they talked me into putting in a transition, to which I did, when the combat exclusion law opened up, and really opened up a whole career path for women mm-hmm. to get a warfare specialty and go fly combat aviation. And I haven't looked back since. It was a great decision for me. It's a great community. I flew multiple times overseas. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I did 2 deployments with my first tour in Whidbey Island, VP-40, and we did 2 deployments to Japan. And I also did my department head tour in Jacksonville, Florida, and that was with VP-45. Following that, because I was playing a little catch-up game since I had transitioned. And so after that, I was pulled up into the Congressional Affairs job doing appropriations liaison up at the Pentagon. And so at that point, I was working the operations and maintenance accounts, the manpower accounts, the medical accounts, and the Navy working capital accounts for the Navy. on all appropriations matters in regards to congressional affairs. Learned a great deal in that job. And in that job, it prepared me, and I screened for command, aviation command out of that job. And I came down here to Pax River. And I came down here to Pax River, and I was the CO and XO of VXS-1, which is the Warlocks. And we are a science, and we were a science and technology squadron in Pax River, flying P-3s and C-12s. And got to deploy to Afghanistan and Japan, Hawaii, supporting a wide variety of science and technology projects for really the nation. Not just naval aviation, but the nation. And we fall under Navy Research Lab. So we were supporting Navy Research Lab and ONR. So at that point, I went back to get a master's, and I went to the Industrial College of the Armed Forces in D.C., now known as the Eisenhower School. And after I got my master's, I was selected and interviewed for Secretary of Defense Legislative Affairs, where I did that. So, and in that job, which I really think prepared me well for this, I handled all weapons system acquisitions for Department of Defense. So at that point, I was preparing the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition Technology and Logistics, Dr. Carter, and then Mr. Kendall, to go to the Hill for testimony, for hearing preps, for staffer briefs with his staff. And that really prepared me well. And that was the job that I screened for Major Aviation Shore Command, which is Naval Air Station Pax River. And Pax River was right at the top of my list. I was very excited to come back here because I really felt like I was very well suited to come back to Naval Air Station Pax River because of my understanding of acquisition and bringing that to the table, the understanding of the relationship with the staffers. I knew a lot of the local leaders down here from before, as well as some of the Congressman Hoyer. I'd worked with his staff before, same with Senator Mikulski, and understanding that piece. So that worked well.
As you've gone down through your resume, which is quite impressive, you have really excelled at just about everything you've put your hand to. I was watching your body language, and I could tell as you're going through your resume in the different places you've been stationed, the different positions you've held, you would smile. You can tell that you have thoroughly enjoyed your career and the people that you have worked with. And I think that that was one of the first things that stood out in my mind when you and I started talking, is how much you enjoy people.
I am all about people. That is one of my priorities. I am an aviator, so I like memory aids. So you talk about priorities. P, PAX team. I'm an athlete. I grew up playing volleyball, basketball, ran track, and really I love the team sports. And the aspect of a team and getting a team to work together, and it could be an air crew. In the P3, you have 11 people. When you get those people working together, it's phenomenal. But when you talk about priorities, you know, at PAX team, P, people and partnerships. People, they're our most important asset. Nothing happens on the base without the great people that are working there. And partnerships, you can't do it without working together. And that's both inside the base and outside the base. Our mission is aviation, research, development, test, and evaluation. That is our mission, and that's what we support. And then the X is about excellence. I want everyone to strive for excellence to make things better, whether it's being the best technician you can be on base or being the best father, mother. It doesn't matter. I want excellence both in your home life and in your professional life.
Right, and you really seem to have found a balance for that. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about that balance, because you can tell when somebody is spouting off a pre-written philosophy and then when somebody is talking about what they believe inside of their hearts. And excellence is a big deal for you personally and professionally. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to learn some more about the commander for Pax River Naval Air Station, Captain Heidi Flemming. She's our guest on GAB with ALisa Profiles. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching Metrocast Channel 10.
Life is a journey. Every day is a chance to do more, be more, and be better. Hi, I'm Dawn Campbell. Join me on this journey to be your best, whether you're working in a cubicle, managing a full house, or entering a new chapter of life. If you feel good, you look good, inside and out. Join me each week for Be Your Best on Metrocast Channel 10. We can do it together. Be Your Best is brought to you by Burris's Old Town Insurance, an independent agent representing Erie Insurance Group.
In financing, our focus is on saving you money and getting you the best terms. And our customers will tell you that.
I had a bad experience someplace else. All she wanted me to do the minute I walked in wasn't look at cars, was fill out a credit app. So when I came here, they were all about me, not about closing a deal. I feel so compelled to tell everybody that buying a car as a single woman, it can be really fun. My name is Cheryl, and I am an ecstatic Fitzgerald customer.
You're watching GAB with ALisa Profiles on Metrocast Channel 10 as we profile Captain Heidi Flemming from Patuxent River Naval Air Station. Heidi, you were talking about your philosophy as a leader, and you have a memory aid, which is a tool that you bring from aviation.
Yes.
And I loved the way that you said that this memory aid is a tool that you use to trigger something. So it's not a philosophy that you have written down and you spout. It's actually something you believe from inside. And you use your memory aid to trigger behaviors, if you will.
Yes.
And when we left off, we were talking about excellence. So let's go back to finishing what your memory aid was all about. I want to talk about that and talk about some more about you here at Pax River as the CO.
Sure. So Pax team, and I talked about the Pax piece, but the team piece, being an athlete, I'm all about things happen because we are a team. Whether it's our staff working together as a team, but also working with lieutenant commands on base and making sure they have what they need and ensuring that we're communicating. So I always say, treat everyone with dignity and respect. Everybody earns that. Everybody deserves to be treated with respect. And we work together, we work collaboratively. And it's about really getting the best out of people. And you can't do that unless you're treating each other respectfully. The E is about educating, empowering, and equipping. I always say, train your relief. If I'm not training the XO or those following me to do better, to understand what I want, then I'm not doing my job. And that's kind of about leadership. And then educate, empower them. If they understand what my priorities are, what is important to me, they will understand if I am not there, what I would want them to do. And that's very important. And then equipping, making sure they have what they need to do their job. Whether it's security vest for our security personnel standing at the gates or on patrol, to ensuring our air traffic controllers have what they need to do their job. And as the senior leader, it's very important that I do that. And then the A is about attitude. I mean, if I come into work and I am in a great mood, that feeds on others. And attitude is either very infectious, and it is very infectious. But it's very important to come into work with that, hey, I'm accessible, I'm motivated, and that doesn't mean you can't have bad days, but it's about coming into work with that attitude where making work environment fun, and I think you get more out of your people when you do that.
Absolutely.
And then the M is about mission focused, because that's why we're here. The staff at NAS Pax River, we are enablers. We are enablers for Nav Air, for NOC AD, the talented men and women that are working on the base every day to ensure naval aviation has what it needs and is providing what it needs to the warfighter. You know, it's about sustaining the aircraft we have now, and it's about the next generation of aircraft that we'll fight with in years to come. So it's about enabling them, because NAS Pax River is about the future of naval aviation.
It definitely is, and it's also about the history. And I have an interesting story to tell. When I first approached your office to ask you to be a guest on GAB with ALisa, I came with the approach of, you are the first female CO for Pax River, and whoa, wait a second, that's not really how you want to be identified. So I kind of want to put a little disclaimer here. First of all, it is historic, so it is important, and yes, you are the first woman CO for Pax River, but your hopes and what I've learned from getting to know you is that as the military goes forward and as basically our society goes forward, at some point in time, you can put resumes on a desk, you can erase the name and any gender reference, and the best person for the job will get the job.
Absolutely.
And that's really what you want to aim for, not to be known as the woman CEO of the base, but rather as the person who is completely appropriate for the position with your experience, your attitude, and your direction and guidance. So having said that, let me ask you a really kind of intensely personal question. What is it that you bring to this job that makes you unique and makes what you plan to do unique to your experience, your personality?
Well, I think, from my standpoint, as you talk about the first female CEO of the base, for me, and this goes back to my Naval Academy time, it is really about knowing your job, being professional, being competent, taking care of your people, knowing what your people need, being connected to that, because it's really very difficult to lead people if you don't know them. And I really work hard to know who my sailors are. So when I see them on the base, I know them not only, hey, this sailor works for me or this person works for me, but knowing them and calling them by name. Mm-hmm. I think that's important. Knowing that, hey, congratulations, you had a baby.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you just got selected for advancement, and really recognizing people. So it's really about that philosophy going forward. And as far as being cut out for NAS Pax River, I think the Navy does a very good job. Every step of the way, you're being prepared for that next job. Mm-hmm. And when you come to be a Naval Air Station Command, Commander Navy Installations Command will actually prepare us to take over an installation, because that's a different set of business lines, if you will, because we're aviators by trade. So we're learning the installation piece, from environmental to infrastructure, across the gambit of that. And then the community. I will tell you, the community here is so warm. They're friendly. The base really enjoys a phenomenal relationship with the community. I can't say enough great things. I'm very, very blessed to be where I am, and really the partnership that I see not only inside the fence line, but outside the fence line, because we can't do what we do without their support as well.
You seem to have such a good, strong grasp on why you're here, what you're doing, and what you want to do. We just have a very few seconds, but before we go, I wanted to ask you, you talk about relationships with the people that you work with, the people that work for you, and the people that you work for. That's a lot of time. It's a very time-consuming approach to have at life. What's a word of advice you would give to someone that is your peer, that's a CEO of a company, when you're talking about relationships? And like I said, we just have a short period of time, but what would you say to them?
I would say, everything is about relationships. You get things done through relationships by collaborating, communicating, and working together. And if you're not doing that, things are going to become very difficult. The first time I go to talk to somebody, it shouldn't be, I need this, I want this. You should have established and taken the time to establish a relationship with somebody, as far as getting to know them. Hey, what are your concerns? Because again, when I'm working with tenants on the base, or even the community, what concerns do you have? I am a big proponent of feedback. Okay. Positive feedback reaffirms what we are doing well. Constructive criticism, if you will, shows us what we need to improve. And I always tell our folks and our staff that that's important, because that's how we get better. Because I'm about moving the base forward, taking it to the next level, ensuring tenants and NavAir and NOC-AD and all the squadrons are getting what they need, and our folks are supporting them full force. And I'm big into getting to the yes. Get it to a yes to help them out, to make their mission easier, to support them.
And that is why she is the right person for the job. Personality and perseverance. Didn't I tell you at the beginning of the program? We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I have an interesting look back into history question for you. So get a cup of tea and come right back. We'll be back in just a moment with more GAB with ALisa profiles on Metrocast Channel 10.
Everybody knows Jeep is an American icon. It's fun on the road, off the road. It'll take you anywhere you want to go. Here at Fitzgerald, we have all the Jeep Chrysler models and our low posted price. There's no hassle, no haggle buying a car here. It's fun. Plus, it's backed up with Fitzway service.
Get 0% APR financing on almost every new 2015 Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep.
Treat yourself to an American icon. That's the Fitzway. There's just no better way to go.
Life is a journey. Every day is a chance to do more, be more, and be better. Hi, I'm Dawn Campbell. Join me on this journey to be your best, whether you're working in a cubicle, managing a full house, or entering a new chapter of life. If you feel good, you look good, inside and out. Join me each week for Be Your Best on Metrocast Channel 10. We can do it together. Be Your Best is brought to you by Burris's Old Town Insurance, an independent agent representing Erie Insurance Group.
Welcome back to GAB with ALisa Profiles as we profile Captain Heidi Flemming from Pax River Naval Air Station. We talked about your career, we've talked about your philosophy, we've talked about you as CEO of the base. I want to ask you, if you could go back to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell yourself? Knowing now what you know now, what would you tell yourself when you were 18 years old?
Dream big. Go after what you want. Know what you want. Study hard. Work hard. Education is everything. Because really, you study hard, you work hard, you persevere, because doors are opening. I've seen so many doors open since I was, a young high school student to now. I see what women are doing in the Navy. It's very exciting. From shooters on the boat, actually doing carrier launches, to flying jets off the aircraft carrier. One of my classmates was the first female carrier air group commander.
Wow.
So really, so many doors are opening now for women. And really, it's really about the diversity that we're seeing in the Navy, the diversity of thought. It makes us better. It makes us more strategic in our thinking, I think, and collaborate, be a team player, and work hard.
It's funny that you say all of those things, because I was then going to ask you, what would you say to a young person considering going into the military now? And I think you pretty much covered it. What do you see in the military in the next, let's say, 10, 15 years as really exciting fields to pursue?
Well, obviously, we have the Joint Strike Fighter that NAS Pax River is developing, so it's the 5th generation fighter. I think that is very exciting. The P-8 aircraft, which is the replacement aircraft for the P-3, which is what I flew in, is coming online. The great work that's happening at Pax River is the next generation of aviation that will be fighting in wars to come. So really, these are brand new platforms, and that is incredibly exciting. As far as career fields, obviously cyber is huge these days, so if you have interest in IT world stuff, that is a great career path. Energy, we're looking to drive down our energy cost. Alternative energy and renewable energy is obviously a great career path. Not necessarily, directly in the military, but it could be, but also outside of the military. But there's very much, when you look at it, there's so many opportunities out there. For folks, and more doors are being opened for women as they study contributions and what we can do.
Absolutely, and hats off to women such as yourself who have done such an excellent job of being excellent. You just said, I can do this, let's do this. Okay, let's step out of the military for just a minute, because we only have a couple of minutes left, and let's talk about your next love, and that is sports. You're an athlete, volleyball, basketball. But you want to bring a smile to Heidi's face, all you have to say is one word: Auburn.
War Eagle.
So you obviously went to the Naval Academy, but you love SEC football.
I do. So everybody in my family went to Auburn. My dad was the first Marine general from the Auburn NROTC unit. So obviously, I grew up saying War Eagle before I said Go Navy, but I'm orange and blue, and I'm blue and gold through and through.
That is incredible. That is incredible. Athletics, do you still pursue them? Do you encourage?
Absolutely. There's something about working as a team. It could be team sports, but it encourages hard work, perseverance. It encourages teamwork, sportsmanship, and working together for a goal. I played in team sports. I played volleyball and basketball in high school, and I've also played other sports. I played soccer as a young kid. I played softball when I was younger, so I played a lot of, mostly ball sports. I did run track, but I really gravitated towards the team sports, and I was a setter in volleyball. And frankly, I got so much enjoyment as a setter, you're kind of like a quarterback, and I loved playing football too as a young kid, and co-ed flag when I got older on the Auburn team. But anyway, I love team sports and the collaborate. It's really working together to a greater goal, and it really encourages people to work hard, to persevere, and the thrill of winning is fun. And I'm very competitive at heart. I do a little bit, especially on the sports field. So it's really, it's just about being on the field and working hard and going after the victory. I love sports, all sports. That's really my true passion when it comes down to it.
That's great.
So yeah,
That's
absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing. And you can, hi Mom, you gotta.
Hi Mom, go Navy, War Eagle.
There you go. Heidi, thank you so much for coming in and sharing so much of your passionate, I used the words personality and perseverance at the beginning, but I may have to change that because you're a very passionate person, get very enthusiastic about the things that you love, and it seems like you have a very full life, full of things and people that you love and you care about. And I think you're going to do great things for Pax River, and your position is historic because you're the first female CO, but I think it's going to end up being historic because of the kind of person that you are and the things that you bring to the job. So hats off, it's going to be fun to watch your tenure.
Thank you. I've enjoyed being here with you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Captain Heidi Flemming from Patuxent River Naval Air Station, our guest on GAB with ALisa Profiles. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Metrocast Channel 7.